It seems another video game company who I used to love has fallen. Instead of listening to feedback from their fanbase and getting rid of the cause of the problem, they have chosen to side with the problem and create even more problems for themselves. They put up a new customer harassment policy as their way of damage control, but as you look at the policy closely, it sinisterly means they themselves get to define and make up what is insults, defamation of character, or abusive language. Now, Sega could have stayed silent, as of course, the internet is the internet. Anyone can write an opinion, and if they find it hurtful, well, you just have to grow thick skin and ignore it. And if you're a big company, you're always going to have criticisms and roasts from fans and journalists. But instead, Sega wants to outright silence its consumer fanbase. Hi, I'm Roxer15, and let's dive into this stupidity. As you already know, the new yakuza, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, has already been met with backlash and very unhappy fans and customers. From scenes that promote feminist propaganda, putting Western values into a Japanese game and its culture, to insane prices to get the full game. Not to mention the cardinal sin to RPG players, putting New Game Plus behind a paywall. Heck, a lot of stuff should have been in the game regardless. It's obvious enough already that the Japanese and the Western fans are not happy with these changes at all. But instead of Sega listening to its fanbase and consumers to get rid of the localizers who are butchering the series and get rid of its greedy practices, in many cases, like most big companies, they can just say nothing at all and let the wind blow over the controversy. They have instead attacked the fans and updated their new so-called, and I quote, customer harassment policy. Unfortunately, I can't find the old one, if there is one, and just like I said in the intro of this video, this may look harmless and they want to protect their employees like any company is required to do by law. But if you look more beneath the surface, and of all the times and places they put this policy out now, everything looks okay until we get to the insults, defamation of character or other abusive language, defamatory words or actions, or those that cause economic credibility. People know who use the internet, let alone allow their phones to attach to their faces tightly like social media ex-Twitter face huggers. You're always going to get total strangers who will criticise and roast you indefinitely, and it's never going to stop. Now, you can take it like a grown adult and learn from it or ignore it, or as I say, if you can't take the heat, then stay out the kitchen. But unfortunately, that morality is nothing more than a distant memory, as Sega took the cowardly way out and outright wants to silence any criticism about their games and want to protect their snowflake employees from bad words. Which means YouTubers can get their channels taken down, ex-Twitter accounts could be terminated, thanks to Sega pressuring social media and content creating companies. What makes this hilarious is them thinking they are the arbiters of morality when it comes to insult and abusive language. When did they get the power to define something that is so offensive it's going to put their entire workforce into a mental breakdown? How can they define that certain insult is going to put someone into a mental-induced coma? How can they predict certain words or negative feedback on social media is going to cost them money and then blame it on the bias of malicious practices from fans or ordinary gamers? I mean, what is this, Minority Report? Do they have some kind of supercomputer that can predict the future? You would think that if all this happened, maybe it's a good time to listen to the fans and get rid of your workforce that are incompetent, and that your productivity practices are garbage from the get-go. And of course, if people cannot create good games, then this job is just not for them. But instead, we have to go down the route of gaslighting, and people's precious fifis are more important.
Or had any contact with him, but I'm sorry, I can't go on.
That's okay. Your tears say more than real evidence ever could.
If I was to call into work the next morning and say, I can't come to work today, I'm so distraught, a complete total stranger call me a bad word on my ex-Twitter account, would my manager tell me I deserve a week off, and they'll find out who called me a bad name and get them silenced and arrested in my honour? Hell no. My manager would tell me to get my behind over here now, or they'll replace me. Now, why would my boss angrily say that? Because of course, I'm wasting their time, productivity, and the big one, money. cash money, especially if you get paid sick leave. What's next? Does that mean anyone in PR or complaints department can get a week off due to emotional distress from letters on a screen or a person's voice? If that's the case, then I'm in the wrong job. The proper and tactical response would to use this opportunity to get rid of people who are butchering the products or start downsizing, not only to save money, all in the name of good PR to the consumers, so everybody wins. But instead, Sega wants to go down the route of gaslighting and authoritarianism, which brings me to this warning of what's to come in the video game industry. Sega is paving the way and giving the same idea to other gaming companies to do the same. Criticism or disagreement needs to be silenced.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Even in the film sphere, Hollywood have been trying to silence critics by getting YouTubers' channels taken down or their ex-Twitter accounts terminated that go against their politics or say nothing good about their films. We have already seen the laziness and the incompetency of many games that have come out. Us gamers have had enough of it, and it's gone on for far too long. Many are finally waking up, and the very companies themselves are panicking. This method of damage control Sega is doing is like preaching to a pack of hyenas to be silent. It doesn't work, and you're just going to get eaten by them. The last remaining companies need to make the choice now this year. Appease to the ESG investors and stockholders from BlackRock for safety, easy stocks and easy money, or take the risk to listen to their fans and see the rewards flourish before it's too late. But unfortunately for some, it is far too late. If you're going to ask me what the hell is ESG and what's it got to do with the video game industry, that's a topic for another time, as there is a lot to unpack. But in simpler terms, the more you have diversity, ethnicity and inclusion, and the more wokeness virtue signalling you put in your video games, let alone your company, the more money ESG investors will give you based on their tick box reports. In conclusion, if we want the video game industry to actually make art again rather than dull content, we must vote with our wallets and to continue to call out the BS. As of course, the wallet is mightier than the virtue signalling. And just as I was about to finish making this video, it seems Sega took another big L. The Yakuza producer Masayoshi Yokoyama is going down the lie that violence in video games encourages gamers to be more violent. A video game producer of all people has forgotten how that assumption went down in Congress of 1993.
Let me turn to Mortal Kombat. To meet our game guidelines, we insisted that one of our largest licensees, Acclaim Entertainment, remove the blood and death sequences present in the arcade version of Mortal Kombat before we would approve this game. We did this knowing that our competitor would leave these scenes in, and with full knowledge that we would make more money if we included the offensive material. We knew that we would lose money by sanitizing Mortal Kombat, but sanitize it we did. And unfortunately, I must say that we have been criticized by literally thousands of young game players for insisting that the death sequences be removed from this game. The letters and the phone calls essentially say, leave in the violence, you're censoring.
We are definitely out of here.
Yes! Let's be money hooking out the door!
As you can see, evolving interactive technology has spawned a huge market that goes well beyond the child-oriented directed titles that gave the industry its start. Clearly, whatever Congress might do would affect a large, diverse group of consumers, young and old, in a volatile industry only in its infancy. Information, not regulation, is the appropriate policy. Last September, Sega completed its phased implementation of a comprehensive parental guidance program, which we began developing over a year and a half ago. The Sega program is a three-pronged approach designed to help parents determine the age appropriateness of different interactive video software. It includes a rating classification system, a toll-free hotline, and an informational brochure. Building on the motion picture industry model, the Sega rating system applies one of three classifications to each interactive program released by Sega. GA for general audiences, MA13 for mature audiences aged 13 and over, and MA-17, adult appropriate, not suitable for those under 17.
Of course, it was all a farce and pure scaremongering. Many of the participants were using this to get a leg up in their own political careers, or just wanted a instant gratification of a power grab. But without those idiot Karens, you will not have game series like Doom or Mortal Kombat existing to this day, because those gaming companies back then carried on what they did best, creating violent video games, and to them it was free advertising, and many more people bought those products. If this doesn't scream that Yokoyama is shilling for 30 pieces of ESG silver, I don't know what does. And that concludes the review. Thanks for watching. If you want to keep updated for more content, subscribe to my channel and follow me on X Twitter if you're brave enough. This is Wilksy15 signing out.
Thanks a lot, you shit brain.
You are fine. For repeated violations of the verbal morality statute.
So much for the seashells. I'll see you in a few minutes.